All right, in this video, I want to talk about factoring quadratics. And to do that, I want to go over an easy example, as well as a hard example. Okay, so to understand even the easy example, we need to understand what exactly we're trying to do. So when we're factoring anything, what we're doing is basically rewriting the expression as a product. Now, when we have a trinomial, if you've had any experience with factoring trinomials, we know that those can be factored into a product of two binomials. And the nice thing about having a quadratic trinomial here is when we have our first term as x squared, we know the first two terms of our binomials need to multiply to give us an x squared, so that's just going to be an x and an x. To find the second two terms, what we need to do is kind of look into what is the last term of our trinomial. We need to be able to find the values that multiply to give us a positive 4. Now, thankfully for this easy example, 4 doesn't really have too many factors. We have positive 4, it could be positive 4 and positive 1, as well as a negative 4 and a negative 1. That comes into, though, looking into our middle term. So our middle term is what our two factors need to add up to, right? So we know 4 and 1 multiply to give us 4, but 4 plus 1 adds to give us a negative 5. Or 4 plus 1 adds to give us a positive 5. We need a negative 5. So therefore, we know that our two values, our two factors, have to be a negative 4 and a negative 1. And again, we can always check our work. X times x is going to be an x squared. Negative 4 times negative 1 is going to be a positive 4. The inner and the outer is going to give me a negative 4x minus x, which you can see combined to give us a negative 5x plus 4. So if you apply this same factoring technique to this problem, you quickly realize that you're going to have an issue. And the reason being is there's no two numbers that multiply to give me 4 that are going to add to give me a negative 6, right? Again, remember, our only options to multiply to give us a 4 is going to be negative 4 and negative 1 and positive 4 and positive 1. So what do? Do we just say it's non-factorable? Well, typically in a class, if we have to factor it across rational numbers, we will say, yeah, it's non-factorable. But if we want to be able to factor this across some imaginary or irrational numbers, here's what we're going to want to do. What we're going to want to do is be able to identify what the zeros are of this equation and then rewrite the zeros as factors. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this expression and go ahead and set it equal to 0. Now what I want to do is go ahead and solve this. Now we know it's a quadratic. You could use the quadratic formula, but you could also use completing the square. To factor this by completing the square, I'm going to subtract a 4 over to the other side, and now I'm going to get a x squared minus a 6x equals a negative 4. Now I need to identify the value that is going to create a perfect square trinomial. That value is c. c is b divided by 2, quantity squared. So b, remember, represents our coefficient of our linear term. So that's going to be a negative 6 divided by 2, which is negative 3. Negative 3 squared is going to equal a 9. Now, this value we're going to add inside the parentheses. But remember, whatever you do on one side, you have to do on the other side. So now I'm going to have an expression. This can be factored down because I created a perfect square trinomial. That means I can factor it down into a binomial squared. What two numbers multiply to give me 9, add to give me a negative 6? That's going to be a x minus a 3 times an x minus a 3, which factored form could, or in simplified form, would be an x minus 3 quantity squared. Now, negative 4 plus 9 is going to equal a positive 5. Now, again, we're trying to find the zeros, so let's solve for x. To do that, I'll take the square root of both sides. I'm left with an x minus 3 equals plus or minus a square root of 5. Need to make sure you include that plus or minus. Add a 3, add a 3. X is equal to a 3 plus or minus the square root of 5. These are what we call the zeros. These are the solutions of this equation. But remember the original question. It's not to find the zeros. We want to write this as a factored form. We want to write this as a factor times a factor. So how do you go from zeros to factored form? Well, all you simply need to do is get all of your terms over here on the same side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract a 3. So let's go ahead and let's actually separate them out. So what I'll have is a x equals a 3 plus a square root of 5, and a x equals a 3 minus a square root of 5. So all I'm simply going to do is set these equal to 0. This is the values that make it equal to 0. So I'm going to rewrite them equal to 0 so I can rewrite them in what we call our factored form. To do that, I'll just subtract a 3 on both sides and subtract a square root of 5. So therefore, this is now x minus 3 minus a square root of 5 equals 0. And then do the same thing over here, but now I'm going to add the square root of 5. So therefore, make sure you do it on both sides. So now this is going to be an x minus the 3 plus a square root of 5 equals 0. And now, ladies and gentlemen, these are going to be what we call our factors. And if you were to multiply these out, you would get your x squared minus 6x plus 4. But let's write out the factored form, so therefore you can see how beautiful it is going to be.